Have you ever felt like your energy is draining faster than before? Like some days, no matter how much rest you get or how much you try to stay positive, there's just this quiet exhaustion in your spirit? If so, you're not alone. That's something many of us start to notice as we get older, not just physical tiredness, but emotional fatigue. And often, it's not even our bodies that are the problem. It's what we allow into our minds, our hearts, and our daily lives. At this stage in life, peace becomes more valuable than ever. You've worked hard, raised families, contributed to society, and now is your time. A time to breathe, to enjoy the simple moments, to laugh more and worry less. But here's the thing, peace doesn't just show up at your door with a bouquet of flowers. It needs to be protected. Guarded. And that starts with boundaries. In this video, we're going to talk about the 5 most important boundaries you can set to protect your peace after 60. These aren't big, dramatic changes. They're simple, powerful shifts in how you interact with the world, and more importantly, how you care for yourself. These boundaries will help you reduce stress, avoid toxic situations, and reclaim your joy in ways that feel natural and right for you. Before we dive in, I'd love a small favor. If this sounds like the kind of content that can help you or someone you love, please help me grow by giving this video 1 like, 1 share, and 1 subscribe. It helps more than you know, and it means I can continue creating helpful, uplifting content for this beautiful stage of life we're all navigating together. Now, let's begin. Let's start with the first boundary, arguably one of the most powerful ones, and that's learning to say no without guilt. Now, I know, no can be such a tiny word, yet it feels so heavy sometimes. For many of us, especially those who grew up in times where politeness and helpfulness were the golden rules, saying no can feel almost selfish. Maybe you're the one everyone calls when they need help. Maybe you've spent your whole life putting others first. And while there's beauty in that kind of generosity, there's also a cost when it's not balanced. You have the right to say no simply because your peace matters. You don't need to over-explain. You don't need to feel bad. You don't even need a reason beyond, I need rest, or, that doesn't work for me. Saying no doesn't make you unkind. It makes you wise. It keeps you from overcommitting and burning out. It gives you the time and space to do the things you want to do, not just the things others ask of you. Let me give you an example. A woman I know, let's call her Marie, is 67 and retired. She's got a few grandkids, and her children live nearby. Sounds lovely, right? But what was happening is that Marie's kids were constantly dropping off the grandkids, assuming she'd be available to babysit at any time. She loved her grandkids, of course, but she never had time for herself anymore. Her painting classes were on hold. Her garden was overgrown. She was tired and a little resentful. So one day, she had a calm, honest conversation with her kids. She told them she needed a few days each week just for herself. It was hard at first, but guess what? They respected it. And now she's back in her painting group, and the joy on her face when she talks about it. It's like a spark came back to her. That's the power of saying no. That's the power of choosing you. Alright, let's move into the second boundary, which is one that often goes overlooked, but makes a world of difference. It's limiting your exposure to negativity, especially through the media. You know how it goes. You turn on the TV or scroll through your phone, and the headlines are just one upsetting thing after another. Conflict here, tragedy there, anger everywhere. And even if it's not directly affecting you, it feels like it is. It starts to chip away at your mood, your outlook, even your sleep. The thing is, your brain isn't wired to carry every problem in the world. Especially not all day, every day. That doesn't mean we ignore what's going on in the world. It just means we create boundaries around how much we allow in. Maybe you check the news just once in the morning, from a reliable source, and then turn it off. Maybe you unfollow those pages that thrive on fear and outrage, and instead follow uplifting content, stories of kindness, nature, spirituality, hobbies you enjoy. The internet is full of garbage, yes, but it's also full of gold, if you know where to look. Think of your mind like a garden. What you feed it, it grows. Feed it anger and fear, and that's what takes root. But feed it peace, beauty, and wisdom. That's what will bloom. I had a gentleman write to me not long ago. He was 72, and he said he'd been feeling anxious every night for months. Couldn't sleep. Heart racing. After we talked, he decided to stop watching the evening news before bed and instead started listening to soft classical music while reading something inspirational. Within a week, he said his sleep had improved, and he felt calmer. Just like that. No medication. Just a boundary. So if you're waking up already tired, or going to bed with a heavy heart, I want you to ask yourself, what voices are you letting into your space? And are they bringing you peace, or taking it away? Now, let's gently step into our third boundary, something subtle but deeply important. It's about choosing your company wisely. You see, just like how we outgrow certain clothes or certain routines as we get older, we also outgrow certain relationships. And that's okay. Some people lift us up, make us laugh, make us feel heard and safe. Others drain us. They criticize, complain, or bring chaos into every conversation. And if you're constantly leaving interactions feeling worse than when you started, that's your spirit telling you something. Protecting your peace sometimes means spending less time with people who constantly bring drama or negativity into your life. It might mean choosing shorter visits, or seeing them less often, or even having honest conversations about how you want your time together to feel. And it doesn't always have to be a dramatic exit. Sometimes, it's just a quiet shift. Spending more time with those who make you feel good and less time with those who don't. You've earned the right to surround yourself with joy. With laughter. With calm. You don't have to keep giving your time and energy to people who don't value it. Now that we've touched on these three powerful boundaries, learning to say no, reducing negativity from media, and choosing the right company, let's keep the conversation going. There's more to explore, and I want to walk you through the next steps that can bring even more peace and purpose into your everyday life. There's something incredibly freeing about realizing that we don't have to carry what isn't ours. And that brings us to the next boundary, one that can be life-changing once you truly understand it. It's learning to let go of other people's expectations. At this point in life, it's so common to still be tied to the roles we've played for decades. The caregiver. The fixer. The strong one. The dependable one. And even though our hearts are big and our intentions are good, carrying the weight of what others expect from us, especially when it doesn't align with what we want or need, can slowly wear us down. Think about this for a moment. Whose approval are you still chasing? Whose opinion do you fear? Sometimes we're not even aware of it until we really pause and look. Maybe it's a grown child who always seems disappointed. Maybe it's an old friend who expects you to be available at the drop of a hat. Or maybe it's society's voice whispering that you're supposed to be a certain way at a certain age. But guess what? You don't have to be anything other than you. You've earned the right to live life on your own terms now. To wake up and ask yourself, not, what does everyone else need from me today, but instead, what do I need today? That's not selfish. That's self-respect. That's self-preservation. That's peace. One gentleman I spoke to recently, his name was Paul, told me that he spent years trying to be the perfect father even when his grown kids rarely made time for him. He was always available, always giving, always adjusting his life around theirs. But deep down, he was hurt. He felt forgotten. So finally, he stopped chasing. He still loved them deeply, but he began filling his own days, with hiking, community events, a book club, even learning to play the guitar. He told me, for the first time in years, I feel like I'm living for me. That's the magic of letting go of expectations. It opens space for real joy. For new beginnings. And it puts your emotional energy back in your own hands. Now, let's talk about one more boundary, and this one may surprise you. It's setting limits with your own thoughts. That's right. Not every battle is out there in the world. Sometimes the hardest battles are right inside our heads. The replaying of past mistakes. The regret. The what-ifs. The voice that says, "It's too late," or "I should have done more," or "I'm not as useful anymore." Let me be honest with you, those thoughts are lies. Quiet lies that sneak in when we're tired or vulnerable. And if you're not careful, they can take over. But here's the truth, you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. And you have the power to choose which ones you believe. One small practice that can make a big difference is this: whenever a harsh or negative thought comes up, pause and ask, would I say this to someone I love? If the answer is no, then why say it to yourself? You've lived through so much. You've learned. You've adapted. You've given and grown and survived things that younger people wouldn't even know how to handle. That's not something to criticize, it's something to honor. So instead of letting your mind run wild with worry or regret, guide it. Bring it back to the present. To the cup of tea in your hand. To the soft light coming through the window. To the joy of a good memory, or the stillness of a quiet breath. Peace isn't just a feeling. It's a practice. And sometimes, it starts with simply being kind to yourself. I want you to imagine your mind like a home. You wouldn't leave the front door wide open for just anyone to come in and make a mess, right? So why do that with your thoughts? Close the door. Invite in only the thoughts that are helpful, loving, or healing. Everything else? Let it knock, but don't answer. And if you need help with that, talk to someone. A friend, a counselor, a support group. There's no shame in needing support. We weren't meant to do all this alone. You deserve to feel calm in your own head. You deserve nights of rest without the noise of doubt. You deserve to wake up without the heaviness of yesterday's mistakes. Peace of mind isn't about having a perfect life. It's about not letting the imperfect things steal your joy. As we move forward together, I want to remind you of something powerful. The boundaries you set are not walls. They are doors. Doors that you open only for what is good, what is nurturing, what is kind. Boundaries are not about shutting out the world. They're about choosing what kind of world you want to live in each day. You have more control than you think. You have more wisdom than you realize. And you have every right to build a life that supports your spirit, not one that drains it. Let's keep this journey going, because there's one more boundary we haven't talked about yet. One that ties everything together, and may be the most important of all. And here it is, the final boundary I want to share with you. It may be the most important one of all, because it touches every corner of your life. It's the boundary of how you allow people to treat you. Now, this might sound simple on the surface. But the truth is, this is where so many of us struggle. Especially after 60, when relationships shift. Children become adults, long-time friendships change, and sometimes partners grow distant. And yet, many of us still stay quiet when something feels off. We don't speak up when someone crosses a line. We tell ourselves, it's not worth the argument, or I don't want to cause tension, or I'll just let it go. But let me ask you something, how many times have you swallowed your feelings just to keep the peace, and ended up losing your own peace in the process? It happens more often than we realize. A friend constantly interrupts or talks over you. A family member takes your time and energy for granted. Someone dismisses your opinions like they don't matter. These things add up. And they send a quiet message to our spirit that says, my comfort doesn't matter. My voice doesn't count. But that's not true. And it never was. You deserve to be spoken to with respect. You deserve to be listened to. You deserve relationships that feel balanced, where love goes both ways. And setting that boundary, saying, "I don't accept being treated that way," isn't rude. It's necessary. You can do it gently. You don't need to yell or cut people off or hold grudges. You can simply say, "When you speak to me that way, it hurts," or "I'm not okay with being ignored," or "I need to be treated with the same respect I give." That alone can change the dynamic completely. Now, I know what you might be thinking. But I've never said those things before, won't it be awkward now? It might be. At first. But uncomfortable conversations are a small price to pay for the peace that follows. One woman I knew, her name was Gloria, shared how she finally told her sister, after years of feeling belittled during family gatherings, "I love you, but I won't stay in conversations where I feel dismissed." It was hard. But something shifted. Her sister backed off. And for the first time, Gloria felt strong instead of small. That's what setting a boundary does, it reminds you of your strength. And when others see that you respect yourself, they either rise to meet you, or they drift away. Either way, your peace wins. And let me be very clear here, protecting your peace doesn't mean you stop loving people. It just means you love yourself enough to stop letting them hurt you. Sometimes peace means limiting time with someone who drains you, even if they're family. Sometimes it means saying no to invitations that leave you feeling exhausted. Sometimes it means unfollowing people online whose posts trigger anxiety or sadness. All of that is okay. It's not cold. It's wise. You are not here to be a sponge for other people's messes. You are not here to carry what isn't yours. You are here to live with joy, with dignity, with heart. And every time you set a boundary, you're saying yes to that kind of life. Think of it like this: your energy, your time, your emotional well-being, these are your most precious resources now. You've spent a lifetime giving them out freely. Now is the time to protect them like treasures. So take a breath with me. Right now. Just a slow, deep breath. And as you breathe out, imagine all the things you've been carrying that are not yours to carry. Expectations. Guilt. Old conversations. Worry about what others think. Imagine laying them down gently. Not with anger. Just with peace. Because you don't need them anymore. You are enough, exactly as you are. Right now. In this moment. This is your time to choose peace on purpose. To stop apologizing for wanting rest. To stop explaining your boundaries. To stop letting your life be shaped by noise that doesn't nourish you. You've earned your peace, not just because of your age, but because of your wisdom. You know what matters now. And it's not rushing around. It's not people-pleasing. It's not holding on to things that make your heart heavy. It's quiet mornings. It's meaningful connections. It's good books, long walks, deep laughter, gentle routines, and a feeling of safety in your own skin. And you are allowed to build that life. One decision at a time. Before we wrap up, I just want to say thank you for spending this time with me. If this video spoke to you, if even one of these boundaries gave you something to think about, please take a moment to like this video, share it with a friend who might need it, and subscribe to the channel. We're building something special here, a community of people who are choosing calm over chaos, meaning over busyness, and self-respect over sacrifice. And I'd love for you to be part of it. Also, I'd really love to hear from you in the comments. Which boundary hit home for you? Which one do you feel inspired to start practicing? Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Remember this: it's never too late to rewrite the rules of your life. It's never too late to protect your peace. And it's never too late to love yourself enough to say, "This is what I need, and I matter." Here's to living your best life, at any age. You've got this.